Now that you have your grid ready and you've gotten your settings set the way that you'd like them, let's talk about topics. Remember in an earlier video we equated your grid to the house and the topics were inside the house. So you do get one particular topic, and usually this is a say hello topic and it's automatically created for you. So as an example, I first want to open this topic before we create our own. On this topic grid, you'll notice there's a box to select and deselect the topic. There's a view button, and this allows you to view it as a student, and we'll come back to that. You'll see when the last response was received to your topic. You'll also see a drop down for keeping your topic active, freezing it, meaning it won't accept any new responses, but the students will be able to see it, or hidden, which hides it from the student's view. We'll come back and talk about share later. I do want to go to the Actions drop-down menu. In the Actions menu, you can record your own response, add topic guests, and we'll talk more about the disco library later. You can hide your topic, move your topic even to another grid, duplicate it if there's only one small or two small differences and you would like to use the same topic but modify it. You can export the data, or you can delete your topic. I'm going to click on the pencil because I would like for us to edit the topic. Again, you can click on Edit from the drop-down or click on the pencil at the top. I'd like for you to see what this topic looks like. So this is the one that was created for you. You'll see it's very similar to the grid settings, but these are the topic settings. You do have to have a title for your topic with a limit of 35 characters. Underneath the title, you'll see a section called Prompt. In this area, this is where you're going to include the prompt for your students so they'll know what it is they're going to do on their video. Notice that you do have some tools in the toolbar, undo, redo. You can use the bold, italics, and underline tools, as well as the clear formatting tool in case you've pasted it from somewhere else. And you also have the ability to insert a link. I do want you to notice that this particular prompt just says we're going to do this for fun to give you some experience in using Flipgrid. You're going to say hi and give a fun fact about yourself. So this is where you put that prompt. Scrolling on down, you'll notice that you are given a certain amount of time that you can set for recording time. This is a place where you strategically can set the amount of time a student is given to record their video. Now, depending on the level of your account, you can have a variety of amounts of time. You'll notice the shortest is 15 seconds. So if I want them to say hi and give one fun fact, I'm not going to give them 10 minutes because they may go on and on and on, and I want this to be a quick video. So this is how you can set that. And a counter will count down to let them know how much time they have left. So for this particular one, I'm going to go ahead and change it to 45 seconds because I want them to say a quick hi and one quick fact. Over to the right, this is an important section called Video Moderation. If you would like to approve a video before it's posted to your grid, you can actually turn on video moderation. That means you have to view them first before you can approve them to appear on your grid. You may want to do this depending on your students, or you may want to wait and see if you have any issues and then change it at that point. That's totally up to you. Also, you'll notice a focus section. A focus is a media resource, and its purpose is to engage your students in whatever the video content is. Here, there's been an upload of a GIF that's basically saying hello in several different languages. So you can add a focus or delete a focus if one is already there. Scrolling down to the bottom, you can give a topic tip. This may be helpful if you have students that you know need a little extra help and support. So you can put a tip here so that they know some things to remember while they're making their video. For example, I might put for those of you who are unsure about making a video, you might want to write out what you're going to say. That will give them a little clue of a way that they can have more success in their video. Underneath the topic tip, you see topic attachments. This is a great place to put up to 9 links to other resources that might help them answer that question. These could be links to websites, YouTube videos, Google Docs, any kind of external link. You put the link on the left and the title that you want to appear for the link in the right. So if I had a Google Doc that really explained the proper way to share one fun fact about yourself, I could add that here. Under this, you'll see topic status. Active means you are actively receiving videos from your students. You have the option to freeze it, which means they can watch all the videos that have been submitted, but they can't submit new ones. Hidden simply means they have no more access to it. Now over on the right, this is for those of you who like to have some control but don't always remember to go back and turn things on and off. So you can actually set a launch date. So if you have those few precious moments where you want to get something ready to assign to your students, you can actually put the date on which you want this particular topic to appear on your grid, and then the second date is the date that you want to freeze it, meaning I want you to start today to submit your videos, but after this date I'm not going to accept any more. So you can set those if you would like. If you do set a launch date in the future, you don't have to come back and turn it on. Flipgrid will automatically assign that on your grid. Now let's take a look at some video features. These are some things that you're going to want to make sure that you have some protocols in place so that you know what to expect from your students, and your students know what to expect from you in terms of what's appropriate for their videos. So you do have the ability to turn on selfies and videos, selfies only, or videos only, and none. Selfies means they can take a quick picture of themselves that would show a still picture representative of them in front of their video. Videos, of course, means they're able to record moving video with sound. So you can decide if you want to allow both, or just pictures, or videos only. You also can require a title or not. I always think this is a good idea to make students come up with a title for their video. This is something you may want to consider. Do you want them to be able to see the number of views a video has received? If you're worried about hurt feelings or such, you can turn this off. Sticky notes. Sticky notes are wonderful, and we'll talk a little more about this when we get into the actual recording, but you can actually put a sticky note on your screen that doesn't get recorded, that has notes to help you talk through whatever it is in your video. You could even put a little script or bullet notes to help you be able to record your content. You can decide whether or not you want to allow students to add sticky note prompts. Video editing, if you want to allow them to be able to trim their videos and rearrange clips so they can put it in their own order, that's a really fun way to give them some creativity. You can turn that off if you like, but that option is there. You can also decide whether or not you want to allow students to be able to put a link with their video. Maybe they are discussing this piece of artwork they created, and you want them to add a link to go to their photograph of their artwork. That's totally up to you whether you want to allow that or not. This one is off by default, but you can certainly turn it on. Students are very familiar with the term likes. If you would like them to be able to like each other's video and see the total number of likes a video has, you'll have to turn that on. Under likes, you'll see student-to-student replies. What that means is you're allowing students to reply via video to another student. So if I put up a video about my artwork, and then another student sees it and wants to send me a video telling me what they liked about my artwork, I can allow that or disallow. That's up to you. So these are all things you need to consider with your topic. Now let's talk about feedback. You have two options for feedback: basic and custom. Basic feedback provides a basic feedback on a response, and it's based on student verbalization and clarity of ideas. So it's basically a rubric. Did you have your ideas, and how well did you perform? Custom feedback allows me to create my own criteria. So you're basically creating your own rubric within Flipgrid on which to grade. So it depends on what you're doing as to whether you want to use the basic feedback for performance and ideas, or if you want to customize that. When you've made any changes, you can click Update Topic. So what we've done is just updated the default topic that comes when you create a grid. So I'm going to use the navigation across the top and go back to my grid, which was called Flipping for Flipgrid. And I want to add a new topic. So this is one thing I want my students to respond to. I want them to say hello and give them one fun fact. I'm going to go ahead and add a new topic, and this is one that you're creating from scratch. So some of the things that you just saw previously, you'll be able to see and realize, oh wow, that's the same thing. So you're going to give your topic a title, and you're going to put in your prompt. So I've got my title, what do you think? And I've put in my prompt. In a few sentences or less, tell us what you think about Flipgrid so far. So there's my prompt. I think that since this is for adults, I'm going to leave the 1 minute 30 seconds as the maximum record time, and I'm not going to use moderation because I'm doing adults and I'm pretty sure they will not add inappropriate things. So previously when we looked at focus, it was already there. Remember the waving hand saying hi. I want to show you this because this is where you can have some great powerful app smashing and some really great ways to inspire your students. So you'll notice here there's record a video. That means I can actually record a video giving the directions for what I want my students to make a video on. So that's great. I can use the Flipgrid tool to do that. I can also upload one that I've made somewhere else, add one from YouTube, upload just a picture. A Giphy is what you saw before where the hand was waving, or just put an emoji. But here's where you have some integration app smashing. If you have a Wakelet collection, or if you have a Nearpod lesson that you want to smash into this Flipgrid, or Adobe Spark, or a Newsela, or Buncee, or any of those things that you want to connect to this, a Google Doc file, whatever, you can add those here. This is your focus. It's a media resource meant to engage your students. So I'm going to quickly record a video because I think this is one that's really super engaging because it lets them see you using the tool. And while I'm recording this, I'll also be able to show you a few of the Flipgrid tools your students will be able to use. So I'm going to go ahead and click record video. And again, I'm recording a video to introduce this topic. So I'm going to click record video. Notice I get this little pop-up that says, do you want to allow your camera and your microphone? Yes, of course I want to do that. So before I start recording, I do want to show you a few things. So notice as a teacher, you have this maximum amount of time to do a video. Also, I talked about stickies. So if I wanted to put a sticky note here with my notes for what I wanted to say, I could put that here. It's not going to record on the video. And there's some fun things here that I want to show you before I actually record. So I have filters, and these are fun filters that you can put on if you want to look warm, cool, or just like a fun little filter here. I want to look old-fashioned, I want to be black and white, whatever it is, you're going to be able to use those tools. If I want to, be a witness protection program here, or none. Any of those filters, and those are available for your students to use as well. So you may want to use some information for your students about what's appropriate or not appropriate to use in your video. You also can add text. This is a great place to put any notes or vocabulary words or anything specific. You can also put stickers. These are things that are either emojis. We've got some people, some accessories. So if you wanted to put, sunglasses on yourself or whatever, those are there. And you also can search stickers. There's also the drawing tool, which can be helpful, because if I had something that I'm holding up and I wanted to, draw and say, this is what I'm talking about, that's also another cool thing that you can use. So that's there as well. Great way to use like a whiteboard kind of thing. Then I do have an actual board. So I could use a whiteboard and do some describing in my video here on my board. So you can use a board if you'd like. Then at the end we have, do you want to put your custom sticker in there? So these are things you as a teacher can use, and these are also some of the same tools your students are going to see. So you'll also notice I have video options here. So I can record my screen, which is a beta that you can also record your screen. You can add a video clip, or you can decide to turn your audio off or on, which I'm not sure why you would turn your audio off if you're trying to do a video with sound. But anyway, you also have the ability to upload something. But now that I've shown you all those quick little tips, I'm going to go ahead and record a video that might be appropriate for use in this topic. Here goes the countdown. Hi, this is Amber. So what I want you to do is create a video telling me, what do you think about Flipgrid? Do you like it? Do you not like it? Do you see any ways it might be impactful to be used in your classroom? Let me know and create a video below, down there. When you're finished recording, you can click next. You'll get to watch your video. You could add more if you wanted to, but I'm finished, so I'm going to click next. This is where that selfie tool was. So this is after a student creates a video, they snap a selfie that can be then used with their video. So I'm going to go ahead and snap my selfie. And you get to use these tools. You can use stickers, you can use all those different things. But I'm going to go ahead and click next. And notice it says don't close the window, it's preparing your video. After your video's finished, you can notice that it says you can delete or redo your video from the settings page. But I'm going to go ahead and click complete, and now you'll see that it's attached to my topic. You notice that we saw additional options in the topic that was automatically placed. That's simply because those were accessed through more options, and you'll see that I can get to those same options down below. So I'm going to go ahead and click create. Notice it gives me your topic is ready, and we'll talk about sharing later, but I'm going to say all set. So if I go back to my grid, I want you to notice that there's that say hello, and now here's my new one. And so what I want you to see is that the newest one went to the top, and notice it says pinned topic. If I wanted this to be my pinned topic, I could take it and drag it and put it at the top, and now that becomes the pinned topic. So whatever's at the top is pinned to the top. So we talked about all the items across the toolbar before, but what I want you to see is the view of what does this look like for a student, because when I click on it in edit mode, this is definitely not what it's going to look like for the student. So let's talk about what it will look like. So I'm going to view it as a student. And what you'll see is what the student's going to see when they first access your grid. They're going to have to log in with Google. And remember, we selected for them to be able to log in with their Google account. So they're going to click login with Google. They'll choose their account if they're already logged in on their Chromebook. And then it'll pop open. So here's my flipping for Flipgrid grid. And you'll see that this is what do you think, and I can click play and watch my teacher's video to get directions. I do want you to also see that for those younger students who maybe are struggling readers, I can also click on this immersive reader button and it will read this aloud to me.
Now that you've seen a little about Flipgrid, what do you think? How do you think it might be used in your classroom or role?
Then I can return to the grid and I can leave my response. So what your students will do is click on the green button and do exactly what we did before and record the video. So super, super easy. Now I also want you to see that this is 2 topics. So if I want to switch between topics, I can choose my Say Hello on Flipgrid topic and I can go from there and do the same thing in terms of recording. So this is what it looks like for a student. So I'm going to go back to my teacher view, and what we've done is we've created a house for this main idea, which could be, your grid could be for your classroom, your grid can be a content area, your grid can be a unit, and the topics are the little questions that you're going to ask them to respond to. What prompts are you going to give them to create a video about? And those go all inside your grid. Now, I have teachers that do it different ways. They have a grid for their classroom, they might have a grid for their period, they might have a grid for a unit. It's totally up to you. But now that we've gotten our grid and now that we know how to do topics, we'll now transition to what we can do with the Disco library, and we'll talk about that in the next video.